Howdy-ho, Booktube, and it is me. I am Sadie. I am your hostess with the mostest, and I am here to do my February wrap-up just a little bit late. Because February, what a month. And so we are going to start with the book I finished first. I don't have it on me because I actually lent it out to a friend's daughter, and that is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I think we should be prepared for a little bit of a rant on this one. Let me tell you, I read it and I thought, this isn't that bad. It's got issues, okay? It's got a fair bit of issues. In the main character is constantly falling into tropes, and you've got this really bad relationship between her and this older man. And subsequently they fall in love because you need subsequent love, and you need to fall in love subsequently. But I thought, you know what, this isn't bad for a young adult. It's not. And I was good, and I was fine with it. And I thought, I want to see what Booktube thought about it, because I basically panned it somewhat, being like, well, it was a young adult novel, it was a quick read, and it had magic. And then I watched Mercedes' review of it, and she was like, this is an adult novel. No. Once I heard that this was supposed to be for adults, my entire view shifted. Because there is no way that if that was for adults, she should be so one-dimensional, that she should be able to say, I can use magic, and poof, it happens, that there's no actual rhyme or reason or magical system, i.e. Brandon Sanderson or Robert Jordan. I mean, even Tolkien gives you more than just like the spoken word poof and magic happens. The other thing is, there's so many problematic female-male tropes going on in there for me that, like, as young adult, if you're young adult, you don't need to explore. You don't need to go further. It's a really good book as far as young adults. Aside from the nipple. If you have problem with young adult nipples, then there's the word nipple. So it depends on your quotient of what is approvable for young children. All in all, I thought it was, good for young adult. And then I heard it was adult, and that, no. I'm sorry, I need more character development. If you're going to tell me it's written for adults, then you're going to have to give me more. Because I would have loved it as a teenager, I would have loved it as a preteen. As an adult, I pan it. And if it's an adult book, then it's got to be panned. And from what I understand, it was very highly received and very greatly received, and it was so wonderful. And I think it's a case of, it can be problematic and it can still be enjoyable. It was decent, like, her writing style is really good. I just felt that the characters needed more. If you were going to tell me it was an adult novel, I needed more adult themes, I needed more adult development, I needed deeper insight that I would have gotten in an adult novel. So there was that. Problematic start to a problematic month, in which then I went kind of sideways, because and don't judge. I then read John Gray's epitome of self-help, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. The classic guide to understanding the opposite sex, and if you take it for what it is, it's actually pretty good. I don't know how to judge self-help books, and I don't know how to describe self-help books. I've used self-help books throughout my life. Four Agreements, anything by Ileana Van Zandt. I grew up in the NAAA community. I'm well-versed with daily affirmations. So the fact that I'm, consulting some self-help books isn't really a problem. So I read that, mostly because my husband and I are preparing for an upcoming deployment, so we need to talk about these things and work on things, and that was one of the things we utilized. The other one I read and this month is really heavy on self-help books, was The 5 Languages of Love Military Edition by Gary Chapman. Now, aside from the fact that I'm a bleeding heart liberal, which you would never expect, my husband is in the military, which you may not know if you just watch this for Booktube. That particular book, I will say, is highly beneficial for anyone who has a spouse in the military, because not only does it like tell you how to like talk to each other, like, you know, it's got many good things for communication, but more importantly, it has advice on things you can do during deployments and for deployments that are beneficial for you both. And I think that if you take out the hocus pocus involved of, you know, psychotherapy and, you know, regardless of how you feel about it, if you think it's good and you think it's beneficial, then great, this is for you. And even if you don't think it's beneficial, it's still got some great ideas and tips and such, and you can pick it up at a library, you can pick it up on Kindle, whatever. It's worth the recommendations and suggestions at the end of each chapter for things you can do with your spouse while they're deployed to keep in communication, etc., etc. So I read those 2 self-help books, and then I said, okay, I'm done for now. That's enough. Let's get back to this fiction, nonfiction fun, because that's where I want to be. And then I read, and I have a Kindle edition of this, so I read 3 Kindle books and 1 actual paperback book. This month I have read only books in physical copy, so I keep fluctuating and alternating. And the book I read, my last book of the month, was Heat and Light by Jennifer Haig. I assume that's how it's said. Haig, or Hag. Either way. It's not a particularly long novel. I believe it's... Okay, apparently it says it has, like, what, 429 pages? Really? Really? It doesn't seem that long. It was a really quick read for me. It is about fracking in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and it is a nonfiction, or it is a work of fiction. It's not a nonfiction. There has been some great research done to provide for the backgrounds of the characters. It's told from multiple points of view. So we have a lesbian couple who are farming organic milk. We have a 5th generation small town guy who works at the correctional facility and then works at the bar. You have someone who's left and gone off and, you know, ruined their life and come back for redemption, who's, you know, a drug abuser. We have the actual workers who are drilling. We have their stories. So all of these stories are playing out all at the same time. So it's a multi-angle narrative of this one small place that is having fracking done and what the fracking does in consequence with them and how that alternates everything going on. So it's really well done, like really well done. Now, when I say it's really well done, I gave it 3 stars. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And I probably would have given it 4 if it weren't for some of the tropes that get involved. And it's not meaty. You're not going to go, oh my god, I need to reread this page like 4 or 5 times. And it's not very... You could read it at a beach. It would be really involving for you at a beach. And it's really enjoyable if you come at it from the perspective of you either don't like fracking or you don't have an opinion on fracking, so you're okay with both sides being explained. It does lean heavily onto the negative sides of fracking. I'll leave that there. But it's a story of how the oil industry and fracking is affecting the small town and the people who are in it and their livelihoods and their lives, and subsequently how everything breaks down. Not necessarily breaks down as in everything breaks down, but how it breaks down for each of them in their lives and how that affects them and so forth and so on. So that would be a recommendation from me to you if you like really interesting multiple narrative stories where there isn't much of a plot. I will tell you that there isn't much of a plot. Our plot is more we get to know these people and their lives and this one event that happens and how that kind of solidifies the town in one way or another. I haven't read anything else by Jennifer Haig. I might. I believe this is her second novel. Definitely worth the checking out of from a library. Definitely worth picking up on a Kindle if that's your bag. Now I can tell you right now that I only read 4 books last month and I've finished 3 so far this month. So the March update is going to be thick and heavy. But that is everything I have for you for the March wrap-up. And I don't do TBRs because I don't necessarily want to do that to myself. If there is any type of book review you would like me to do, or if there's any type of book genre you'd like me to do, or if you want me to do a bookshelf tour, do leave me a comment and tell me. Or if you just like these. Anywho, I will see you next month.